What's up, guys? Good evening. Happy Friday. I just want to start off with I'm very, very excited right now because I don't know if you guys saw that I posted. I finally hit 1,000 subscribers. So super excited about that. Thank you guys so much. Those who subscribed, those who have been around from the beginning, from day one for me. Um, you know, I thought it was going to take longer than it did. It's been about a year or so since I've had my channel, about maybe a little bit longer, but nonetheless, very, very happy about it. It's something that I didn't expect, again, to come so soon, but here we are. And again, thank you guys so much. But here we go. So tonight we have a very special guest. You guys probably have seen him around in the groups, specifically my group. He's very involved in the group as well. So, guys, I'm very excited to introduce to you Daniel Lopez. What's up, man?
What's up, Fabs? How's it going, buddy?
What's going on? How you doing tonight?
I can't complain. Got me a new figure today, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, where'd you get that figure from?
Just got me a little raffle situation over here. Wanted to show it off.
Tell him.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I've never done one of these raffles before, and I was like, what the hell? Why not? And I was like, I'm a cheap guy. I don't do lottery tickets. I don't do any of those scratch offs. I don't go to the casino and gamble or anything like that. So $20 was a big gamble for me, and I was like, I couldn't believe I won.
Oh man, that's luck. That's how it is. And it's funny because you're not the first one who has played. Number one, that didn't want to play. Number two, that only got one number. The second winner was like, I'll take a number. I never win anything. Blah blah blah. Boom, one number. He freaking won it. So that goes to show you guys, don't be afraid of playing because you never know. It's like the lottery says, you never know. All right, so let's get started. Let me see who's in the chat right now. Insane One, what's up, man? Thanks for being here tonight. Thule, my friend, what's going on? Nefty, 007, nice to see you here. What's up? Let's see, Insane One. We have seven. We have 7 so far. So thank you guys for being here tonight. So Daniel, let's start off with let them know who you are, how long you've been in the hobby, and tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So my name is Dan. My friends in the community call me D-Lo. I've been in the hobby now for about going on my 7th year now. I've known about hot toys for so many years, going back to the early 2000s. I remember a friend of mine showed me a hot toy for the very first time. So I think it was Batman Begins, the original Batman from that series there. I was thinking it was a Toy Fair exclusive, but I was absolutely shocked at the quality of figures because, this stage I haven't collected anything. I'm not, by the way, full detail. I've never got into hobby collecting or anything like that. I was a sneakerhead, but I never got into collecting figures and stuff like that. And I lurked for a lot of years, and then eventually I decided to pull the trigger back in 2016. And once I got my first hot toy, I never looked back. I've got tons all over my house now. I'm trying to condense them into one location. I'm working on my Module case setup here. I'm moving everything out of the room now and making it a nice, official, clean look. And also I want to save my marriage because my wife is telling me to get them out or else I'm getting kicked out tomorrow. So I got a lot going on here, but I've been through the thick and thin of the hobby and, love every bit of it. The good, the highs and the lows.
How long have you been collecting for?
Since 2016.
2016. So what have you noticed, from then till now, that has changed, whether it's regarding, hot toys, regarding, third party, regarding, anything that you've noticed yourself?
Yeah. Well, I got to say, back in 2016, it was kind of like a little secret between collectors about hot toys. People knew of it just because it was starting to get some notoriety in the press. And sometimes people would post articles and not realize they're using a hot toy, photo for whatever their article is about and stuff like that. But I would say, obviously the given one is everybody knows if you've been this longer than a year, prices have gone up. That's one thing that's an obvious. Quality has gone through the roof as far as in my opinion, as far as the head sculpts, the R&D that goes into these new bodies that we're seeing. So, and then on top of that, I'm seeing a lot more faces than I ever had before. I'm seeing a lot more people. There's a lot more places to get information about hot toys. Back then, there was not many people like yourself doing this and being vocal and giving other collectors information about, the potential products that are coming down the line and, what you should look out for and all that stuff. So, I mean, I think we're living more in the information stage of collecting hot toys right now. It's very informative. Everybody's an expert, whether they are or not. There's experts everywhere. And I just think it's easier now than ever to get started if you really wanted to. Before it was like you couldn't find too much information about it. Now you just one click away, you can find everything you need to know about that one figure that caught your eye in that picture you found somewhere.
Now, speaking of the actual, you being in it, were you one of the guys who was in the group from the get-go or before you started collecting, or you started slowly finding these groups out?
Yeah, I found my first group by mistake, honestly. I was going through that phase when you put in your first pre-order and they tell you it's going to be X dates, it'll be available and it'll be shipped to you. And so I experienced my first delay, right? So
where were you ordering from?
I was ordered from Sideshow, like most
Sideshow,
people
okay.
back in 2016.
Okay.
I ordered from there, and I experienced my first delay. It was a Batman figure. I'm a huge Batman fan. It's my number one character of all time. So naturally, I wanted to start with that, And what wound up happening was I got a delay, and I got the itch to just get one in my hands, and I wound up grabbing one online, and once I saw it in person, a hot toy for the very first time, it doesn't prepare you for the experience of that. And once I got it in hand, it was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like this before. I need to get another one and another one. So, I mean, before you know it, my first year, before I got my first official pre-order in that was delayed, I was already up to my head in over 60 figures by the end of that year, that first year. So it was pretty wild.
So you were going backwards.
I was going backwards. I've done everything in the hobby. I've done every mistake you can possibly have done. I've done. And anyway, to kind of circle back to what the question was here. I mean, I found it by mistake. One of the first groups there. I was looking for a cape for Batman because I didn't like the stock one that came with it. And I'm okay with tinkering with myself. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, and because I'm a perfectionist at the end. So even though these are the closest you can get to perfection, there's still some things you can tweak, and I'm okay with tweaking. And I started Googling away, and I found a video where somebody got a cape from somebody in China or Japan or whatever it was, and that person had a group, connected with that group, was in there for a little while. I'll give you a hint. He was from Australia. I won't say his name. But yeah, I went there, and I immediately got out of there. Well, I'm still in there. I just lurk. I don't interact anymore. But yeah, then over time, another group popped up, and another group popped up. Another influencer came into the game, and suddenly now this person has their own opinion on this compared to the first guy I found. So before you knew it, I mean, there was so many people to get information from. I just started clicking away at groups. Then eventually I left a bunch of them because it was just too many opinions at once. But yeah, I mean, in the beginning it was not easy. It was not easy to find that kind of stuff to get information on the figures you have. So it's nice that we have at least choices on who we want to follow and whose opinions kind of match with how we want to collect as well too. And I think some people look at it as a negative, but I think that's a positive. I think options are always a good problem to have.
No, it's true, and that makes a lot of sense because it's like watching the news. You watch the news that fit your views. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
But people watch CNN, people watch Fox because it's what they tend to gravitate towards. Now, speaking specifically of collecting, did you collect anything prior to Hot Toys? Did you have anything before that?
Honestly, no. I was, like I said, I lurked for almost 10 years, just about, just admiring Hot Toys from a distance. But I mean, at that time in my life, I mean, I was still young. I was still going out looking for the future, Mrs. D-Lo, and all that good stuff. So there was not a lot of money left over after the tab was paid on Saturday night. So I couldn't really do it, but I wasn't, like I said, I was a sneakerhead. That's kind of like my first, like, let's call it an addiction, if you will. And then, that translates very much into what we do over here in this community over here. So even though I didn't have any experience with collecting prior to that, being from the sneaker game kind of prepared me for what it's like out in the 1-6 communities and stuff like that.
So now with the collecting, with the sneaker collecting, how do you think that is, if in any way similar to, like, for example, were you collecting for yourself, or were you collecting to eventually make money off of the sneakers, which is a lot of people who collect sneakers do. They buy, they wear them, and the thing that, just like figures, you could sell used sneakers and still make money, so they hold their value as well, obviously depending on the sneaker. So how do you think that prepared you for what you're in now?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. There is a lot of similarities between the two hobbies, that's for sure. And you kind of hit it there. There's two types of collectors, right? There's the collector who collects for the sake of having it, and there's the collector who wants to make a profit. I've never been the one of the latter, trying to make a profit on it there. I mean, if there's a profit to be had and my journey with this particular sneaker or this figure is done, well, I'm not going to turn down money, right? But I'm not going out of my way to scoop up as many of X, Y, and Z figures, because I know everybody's going to want them. And when this sells out, I'm going to be a millionaire. That was never the idea. Number one, it's a very risky idea. Number one, I think that's a very risky move. Markets can be very, volatile. They can go ups and down. At the time, it was very high when I came in. Now, obviously, you're seeing a lot of the aftermath of what a lot of people who did want to do that kind of stuff, who wanted to profit off of that, what it's done to the market and what it's done to collectors recently. But I've always been the one where if my journey is done with whatever I buy, I like to get as close to what I paid for it as possible. And if I can make a profit off it there because it's worth it, and it's worth it to anybody else out there, and it's what market value is fair, then yeah, I want what's market value is fair. But never have I ever bought a figure just to flip it. I just don't think there's no point in doing that, because are you collecting because you enjoy what you bought in your possession, or are you collecting because down the road you see the potential to get more money from somebody else who maybe wasn't in the position to buy it at that time? And I don't think that's fair. I think that's something that's more importantly, if that figure was made, it should go to people who wanted it, and it shouldn't be, how can I sit there and take advantage of the situation? I don't think that's what collecting is.
Right. Now, question for you. Here, Thule has a question for you. The question is, how many pre-orders do you currently have? And I know it's growing.
Yeah, that's a big problem, it seems to be, with a lot of people in the community nowadays, isn't it? When I started, I did do the natural one to rock, one to stock. That's a sneaker. That's a sneaker talk. I would do that for sneakers, maybe, but I don't know. I know it may sound like I'm contradicting myself now, truly, but no. No, to answer your question there, I mean, I started, with the pre-orders and stuff like that there. And I tried the payment plans, and, it's easy to put down $25. I think I've heard people say that many times on these streams. But once you have to actually spend the money on it and, pay for it, whether you do a monthly or one lump sum, and, Sideshow doesn't care when your next paycheck comes in, and you just got, hey, it's either taken now or it's gone. I decided to stop pre-ordering. I just decided to stop pre-ordering, not because I didn't want a figure, but I knew if I was, if I give myself time to build up my funds to do these transactions, then I'll never have to worry about doing that kind of stuff as far as payment plans and stuff like that. I'd rather have the money in hand to give to Sideshow where I'm purchasing from, as opposed to them taking out, $100 here, $100 there every single month.
So you're very
picky. To plan it out.
You're very picky with your collection. You don't just get anything.
Yeah, and that's the other part of it too. I don't pre-order anymore because, I've learned about myself while doing collecting that, I'm allowed to change my mind. I can buy into the hype because I just left the movie theater and this was the greatest movie in the world. There's never going to be another movie that's better than this one that I just saw. And oh my gosh, I just saw the prototype. It's amazing, all that. And then a year and a half, 2 years later, did I like the movie that much? Did I watch it? How many times did I watch it after a hit video? And now the figure's out. Do I really want it? No, I want to cancel a lot of those original pre-orders because of that stuff. And I said, I mean, I lost a lot of deposits and stuff like that too. So that's something you got to consider. Right. Some I got back because they were nice enough to give me back under the circumstances there. But, I just said to myself, you know what? A year, 2 years, whatever it takes for this to come out, it's way too long to be excited about something. Some you can definitely say what I'll shout you out if it's like your favorite character. Yeah, I'll definitely do it, and no worries there. But then there's some that it could just be a heat of the moment thing where you're just excited at that moment, and there goes $25, there goes $35. You could have put that towards another figure. So.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, you said $25 like it's the norm, but they keep going up and up and up. Those deposits, they're getting crazier and crazier every time, depending on the price of the figure. It's insane.
That just goes to show you how long it's been since I pre-ordered, man. I don't do it anymore. It was 25 when I did it.
Because I remember when they were 25, I was like,
right? You remember?
Now it's 30, 35, 30. Depends on what it is. Yeah. But no, that's awesome. So now a question. So I see you have, I can see some Star Wars from here. You said Batman. You're very big with Batman. What lines do you collect?
Man, a little bit of everything. I'm not one that focuses on like one particular one. I mean, I will say my plan in the beginning was I was just gonna go DC. Stick with Batman. Batman was always maybe I'll throw in a Wonder Woman. I hear this new Justice League movies coming out at the time. Maybe I'll get a couple of those guys, and then that plan went completely to hell, and suddenly I was dipping into Marvel, and suddenly I was tempted to get into Star Wars, and I did that, and so on and so forth. And then I realized it's like I personally, I don't have the willpower, the discipline to be like, you know what, I'm going to stick to one. Whoever can do that, more power to you. I wish I could be more like you, but I just collect what I like there. So I collect on nostalgia. I never collect on what's the hip thing at the moment. If it's something that sticks with me, I'm gonna wind up getting that there. If it's something that it's fresh now, and I could have maybe saved some money on it and bought it today, well, I need to make sure I like it enough, so I'll let it sell out and come back and get it later if it's something that now it's hit me. They're like, oh yeah, I really did want to keep this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I also the scale. What scale? Are you only doing 1/6 strictly, or are you getting into quarter scale, or are you doing statues eventually, or do you even like statues? What do you think of that stuff?
Yeah, I think there's so much good stuff out there. I have dabbled into quarter scale. I've got the quarter scale, Batman and Joker, the Iron Man. And they are, honestly, in my opinion, they are far superior to 1/6. However, if you're looking to maximize how many figures you can keep in your collection at one time, 1/4 quarter scale, if you will, it takes up a lot of space. And as much as I like them, I just can't see myself continuing. And that's the same reason why I haven't gotten into statues. There's some gorgeous statues out there. Prime One Studios. I've seen this Justice League Batman, and he's on a gargoyle. I don't even know what it is specifically, but I've seen that statue in a million photos of it, and I'm just absolutely in awe of it. Yeah. Then you see the price too, so I feel better about not doing it. So yeah. No, I stick to my 1/6 for now.
No, it's 100% true what you just said. The quarter scale is like, I've always said, I've told you guys plenty of times, I was not planning on getting any quarter scales whatsoever. I missed out on that first. I think it was what the hell was it? The Darth Vader, the first quarter scale Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Which I wish I had now, but it is what it is. That's one thing. Like when I first started, I was going backwards a lot, but now like it is what it is. Like thank God I have 99% of what's been out since I started. But the one thing I do miss, I wish I had, was the Rocky, the Italian Stallion version of Rocky. That thing's like $2,000. If anybody knows anybody who's trying to get rid of one, please message me. I've been dying for that figure. But yeah, the quarter scales take up a lot of room. Statues for me, not a thought. Never have been a thought. Like
you said, a little
prices. No,
some cool ones. You sure?
No, you know what I really like? The what was the brand you mentioned?
Prime One.
Prime One. Those things are probably, to me, the coolest ones. You get the exchangeable heads. You get, different. The bases are beautiful every time, very
Gorgeous.
detailed. But again, the amount of space and the price. Can you imagine if just to pay off a hot toy, depending on what it is, obviously it's between $50 and $60, $70 a month, right? And you could mess around with the payments, blah blah blah. But a statue that's $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, you're gonna be paying $150, $175 a month per. Absolutely not. To me, that's not worth it. And I know the statues hold more value than a Hot Toys to a certain extent because obviously, you would expect it to. But man, not for me, man. I don't. That's not something that's appealing to me in any way. Again, very cool. Not that I hate them. Not that I think they're garbage. Not at all. I think they're great. If I had the space, maybe. But right now, I'm running out of room for my 1/6 and my 1/4. So it's not even an option to even think about right now. What was I going to ask you? There was another question I had to ask. So you're only staying strictly 1/6 right now?
Yeah, I'm committed to 1/6. I mean, like I said, I have some quarter scales. I mean, I'm gonna eventually sell those just because you see in my background, I'm in the process of getting my room prepared to install module cases in here. So I've got 4 DF60s actually waiting to be hooked up right now, and I got 8 more DF120s that are going to be across this entire wall. So it's almost going to look like it's part of the room itself. So I want to, before they get here, I want to really zoom in on what I want my collection to look like, what the theme that I'm looking for out of it there. So I'm going to probably sell those at some point there. But like you said, Fabs, if space wasn't an issue, I would absolutely go in on every quarter scale. I'd probably get a few statues. I know the commitment is a lot more expensive, but I feel like there's value in the fact that, one, it's going to be more exclusive because of that price point to start. 2, they're numbered as well too. So, I mean, the likelihood of reissues, I don't know anything about the statue game. I don't know if it's anything like ours here, but, I know there's people who don't like reissues and 2.0s and all that stuff. I mean, statue seems like it's for the big boys. And it's for the people who have the space and have the funds to finance that kind of hobby there. For me, I'd rather pay $300 for a Cobb van, right? Even though he should be $250, but I'd rather pay $300 for him than pay $3,500 for Batman. Whatever that price goes for.
Of course. See, it's funny you bring that up because I was having a conversation with the guy who got me the tickets to go to Comic-Con yesterday and tomorrow. So shout out to Modoc Mike. We were actually talking about this on the way there. It's a little annoying, at the end of the day, there's nothing we could do about it. But speaking about reissues and 2.0s is a little different because they're not exactly the same. But a straight reissue, and this is what he was saying. To a certain extent, you have to. The reason why you get into a hobby like this is to try to get something limited. You know what I mean? You don't want everybody. They're going to make a certain amount. Absolutely. So whoever gets them. That's it. The fact that Hot Toys is constantly reissuing stuff, it really waters down the hobby because, you could argue, well, what about the people who want them and missed it? What about, fine, then that's why there's a secondary market. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So understandable that, you're going to have to overpay and all this stuff. I get it. It sucks. We've all had to do it. But it's like, why constantly keep, and I understand when it comes to the money with Hot Toys, trying to kill that secondary market. So, they're like, well, let me make that money. You know what I mean? Let me end this person from getting double and triple of what I could, of what I would have made if I just, So what he was saying was they should really stop the reissues altogether. Because, again, not only are they killing the value of their own collectibles, but they're flooding the market. And again, once you have a certain amount, for example, you'll have the most recent reissue is the War Machine Mark 1, right?
That was just released officially today.
Released.
Yeah.
So that figure, for those who know and for those who don't know, that figure, once it sold out, it was super, super expensive because there was no reason to reissue that, or to remake that anymore after the movie was out. You know what I mean? That Mark 1 was over with and done. You were not going to see it again. There was, and that's why it was going for what it was going for during the, once it was sold out from Sideshow and everywhere else. Why are they reissuing that figure again? Yes, people are going to buy. Are they making the same amount as the first batch? I doubt it. But it's like now the people who felt like they had something rare, that it's not, because obviously the numbers back then are not the numbers that they're making now for any figure. You know what I mean? A figure that was made, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you're not going to have those same numbers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you bring up a good point. I think we all, as collectors, kind of struggle with what's the right answer to it. And, I don't think any one of us has the right answer of, what Hot Toys should do or what's the strategy behind this, what's the thinking behind this. I will say this here, regardless of you're on the fence of you like the reissues, the 2.0s, there is, to your point, Fabs, there is some point of it being limited is what we came here for. And we're not talking about Black Series or any of those other,
right.
$40, $50 figures here. We're talking about, now Hot Toys wants us to pay $300 for the Cobb Vanth that I mentioned, right? So, you're asking more and more money out of us. And then at the same time, all we ask as a return is, number one, maintain the quality that we expect out of you here from what you've put the standard as, consistently, might add. And then two, at the same time, I want it to be limited. I do want it to be limited again.
Yes.
I do believe, when people say it's good for new collectors and all that there, in fairness to the hobby, I've been doing this for long enough here. I don't think there's as many new collectors as people want you to believe that there are.
Right.
There's some, but maybe not as all, especially if you imagine somebody who's tuning into your show for the first time. We're talking about this. They're thinking about getting into the hobby. And we're talking about how they're reissuing figures that, were just the one that's the most egregious to me that was recent was the Justice League Tactical Batman.
Right.
That one was that was 3 years ago, in my house 3 years ago. That's when he got here. Pre-order day one, 2017 pre-order. It arrived in my house, I believe it was January or February of 2019, right? So we're now in 2022. That's 3 years. In your opinion, do you think a reissue or a 2.0 or however you want to mark it down, because that one's like a Frankenstein of the tactical and the regular suit. But in your opinion, do you think 3 years is enough time to warrant another issue of that figure?
I personally would have been perfectly fine if they never reissued it at all. So that's number one. The thing is, This is considered a 2.0. Number one, you're getting the base from the regular suit with, the tactical suit added onto it. You're getting, I think it looks like some of even the BVS Batman accessories with that figure as well. That's what it looked like, at least. I think the grappling gun handle looked like, I may be wrong, but that's what it looked like to me.
Don't forget the rifle that came with the regular suit Batman.
Sniper rifle.
Yeah, not the sniper rifle from BVS, but the alien.
Yes,
alien gun.
Yeah, the gun. Yeah.
That gun. That was with the other suit there. So when it came out, my first reaction was, well, this didn't. He never used it with this suit. Why is it coming with this figure?
Right.
So all they're doing seems like they're kind of flipping accessories and putting it.
Yeah, they're mashing stuff.
Right. Right. I know it was Batman Day and all that stuff, but that's just an excuse there. But anyway, where I was going with this here, I think everybody's okay with the reissue in the 2.0 until it hits home, until it's one of your figures.
Correct.
And once it becomes one of your figures,
Absolutely.
You don't want to say it in front of your friends and post a comment. It's like you want to stay positive, and I respect you for staying neutral in that there. But behind closed doors, deep down inside, you're upset because you remember what you went through. You remember where you were when you found that figure, when you bought it, when the excitement you had when you opened it for the first time. all the pictures you've posted in all your buddies' chat rooms and in your communities and how great this is a Grail XYZ. So to have all that fun, like feelings you had when you got that figure to be taken away because now the figure is coming out and now there's going to be 200, 3,000, whatever the number is going to be, a Mew of your figure right now. Yep. And the worst part of it too is if you decided maybe, you know what, I was just about to sell that figure. Maybe my journey with that figure was done.
Yep.
And now you got to sit there and take a hit on something that 24 hours ago was worth XYZ and you could have made your money back, use it towards another figure or whatever it may be. So, you know, we don't like losing money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, getting a bonus, earning something more above market, that's a bonus, but it's not something that you're supposed to, you don't deserve it per se. You shouldn't expect it. But I think it's fair to say as a hobbyist here that, you know, it should maintain at least a retail value to it or maybe a little bit less. But, you know, when you put more figures out into the market and now you give the consumer more options, there's only so much money to go around because the community is not growing at the pace that people want to believe it is. Right. I mean, the new people are seeing what we're going through right now, and they're like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off. This seems volatile. This seems risky. You know, $300 for Cobb Vanth. I like him a lot. He was good in the show. That's a lot of money. I don't know if I want to buy that as my first figure, you know? So it's right now it's in a place where I think the best thing is kind of what your buddy told you. You know, I think the reissues should go away, at least postpone them for a while. At least give us like a good 10 years or something like that. Something that's okay. It's been out of the spotlight for a long enough time for us to miss it and maybe come back to some kind of an anniversary of the movie. And then you want to do it. Hey,
correct. Absolutely.
Movie studios do that all the time. You know, director's cut, 10-year anniversary cut. I mean, everybody double dips. Everybody double dips here, but
because it makes sense. It makes sense at a certain point. It makes sense. Yep.
Right. Don't tell me, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and get this trooper out because I know people in the community love this trooper and it's going for $500 now. And you know, he made a small cameo in the latest episode of Mando. You couldn't really see him; it was kind of blurry, but you can kind of tell it's him in the background. Let's go ahead and issue him again. I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts, guys. You know, there's something to be said about consumer trust when it comes to these things here. And, you know, Hot Toys needs to be careful. It's just you don't want to piss off your customers. And I think it's that weird place where like Hot Toys, I feel like owes us one at this point. They need to do something to kind of make it right with us. And I see some change. I don't want this to be negative. I see some change. I see they're changing some things in the 2.0s, putting in a different accessory here, keeping that Darth Vader broken helmet exclusive with this DX07, you know, little things like that. And that goes a long way with making us feel better about that stuff and not feeling like we have to rush out and get to 2.0.
Two things you mentioned that are very, very, very important to understand. So the first one was the amount of people getting into the hobby, and the second one was the negativity and people being afraid of coming off negative. So I'm saying them, you know, out loud first so I don't forget what the points were. So the first point, 100% true. And I think, you know, besides the few people getting into the hobby, you know, as they come in, I think these reissues help more the people who sold them in the past and are able to get them now again for retail. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah. I didn't think about it from that perspective too. That's another person out there who's grabbing that. Sure.
Exactly. They sold it. They made some money. They're like, oh, wow, I could get it again, you know, for retail, $300, $350, $375, whatever it is. And now still say, eventually I'm going to be able to resell it for more again. You know what I mean? So sure. I think the excitement comes more from not so much the newbies in the hobby, but some of those people as well. And obviously they're not going to say, and they're not going to mention that that's what they were doing, you know, that they sold. And a lot of people, you know, do say that and they're not ashamed of that, which there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with you having to sell a figure because you needed the money, because you got bored of it, because you didn't want it anymore. There's nothing wrong with it. It's your money. You spent it on, you know, you can burn it for all, you know, for all that matters. It's whatever you want to do. But the thing is, I think, you know, I feel like the majority of people, you know, that get excited are not the new people, you know, and I think people use that as an excuse. oh, well, what about, the people that just, the new people who missed it? Yeah, there's only a certain amount of those. You know what I mean? And going to the second point, people are afraid of speaking their mind in the hobby because exactly what you said. They're afraid of coming off negative. There is, nothing in life is all positive and all good, period. End of story. There are things that are good and there are things that are bad about every single thing in life. Every aspect of life is a positive and a negative. That's
Absolutely.
just how it is. So people think and fear saying negative, and at the end of the day, it's their own opinion. So they're afraid of speaking their minds about how they feel about certain things. And this is exactly why I had the idea for the show. I feel like there's a lot of collectors that don't have a voice. They'll comment in a group and they'll get destroyed. They'll get attacked, for just voicing their opinion because for whatever reason, they don't feel like, or they're just not part of the majority in that group. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cliques. There's a lot of
it's brutal. It's very brutal out there.
There's a lot of cliques that form in these groups, and so if you're not part of that clique or part of the people that are constantly being involved in these groups, and you just come out of nowhere and say something that for whatever reason they don't agree with, they're coming after you. Oh, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're this, you're that. And I think it's wrong because everybody has an opinion and everybody should have an opinion. And again, I want people to be able to talk about, because we all don't think the same way. We all have our own different views of thinking, of seeing things, of thinking, of a way of thinking. We look at everything way differently. And that's what I think. That's when you get really good all around views of a thing. You know what I mean? You could see something in a figure that I completely missed. I'd be like, oh wow, I didn't think of that. Or you could point out something that somebody else completely missed. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't see that. So you need the collective. It's not just about one opinion and one opinion only, and they know everything, because that's not realistic. There's no such thing as one person knowing all about everything. So
right, there's no such thing as a definitive opinion where it trumps all other opinions.
Correct.
I think that's what you're trying to say there, and I agree with you 100%. Just kind of bring it full circle. We're talking about the 2.0s and reissues, and the constant remark is like, well, it's good for the new collectors, it's good for them to have an opportunity. That may be true, but if we're being honest with ourselves, right, and we think about the groups that we all associate ourselves with, we bring into, we go browse, we skim, whatever we do, and you find a new collector, right? I'm going to put the scenario in front of you here. You find a new collector, and they ask a question that you may deem dumb, like rookie-ish, or whatever like that. Now, if you go into that group and you click on that comment board, it is a who's who or what's what of tearing that person down. Now, you tell me with a straight face, did you help that person become a stronger collector, or did you talk them out of collecting?
Oh, absolutely. No, I literally just saw that. When did I see that? I saw that either yesterday or today. Somebody asked a question about a third-party figure that was just announced, and the comments were like, they're always making fun of the person. They're always making fun of the person.
I think I commented on that one there because I think I know what you're talking about, because you and I were in the same one there.
Yes.
There was a guy who just came out of left field and just like swung for the guy's neck, and like he must know that guy must owe him money, and he thought this was his chance to get back or something. It was brutal right out of left field. And I came in and I just said, hey, listen, he got his answer. Now piss off. Back off this kid.
Yes.
You know?
No, it's crazy. And go ahead.
What I'm gonna say to that there is like we have to understand as hobbies here, we don't like the fact that figures are being discounted in resellers, websites, Sideshow with the discounts. You paid full price, you dopo this thing, you did whatever you did, and you're seeing the equity in your figure go down and down and down. It's not even worth what you paid for it there. You got to be nicer to these new collectors, okay? Because they're the enthusiastic ones. They're the ones that, put yourself in their shoes when you first started.
Yep.
How excited you were when you got your first Hot Toys figure. how many friends you told about it there, how many pictures you took on your cell phone.
Yep.
You know, you took it out to the desert so you can get a great photo. Whatever you guys, that guy or gal deserves that opportunity as well too. And we got to be nicer to these newer people here, because at the end of the day, they may be the person that you want them to buy your figure.
Yeah. Okay? No, it's true. Very true. And that's one thing that, you know, it's very contradicting in the community as well. You know, everybody wants positivity, right? When somebody's negative, they get attacked. But when it comes to somebody genuinely asking questions and wanting to learn, they get destroyed. They get destroyed by people. And it's funny. I've noticed that a lot of these names that come up when they're attacking somebody is people that you don't see anywhere else. You know what I mean? They just come out of the woodwork, like, to belittle whoever the person is asking a question, trying to learn, you know, literally just a genuine question that they may not know. You know what I mean? And then a bunch of people just come out and like they know everything already. You know what I mean? And I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. And it creates fear. Now, is that person gonna be comfortable to go ask another question in another group? Absolutely not, because they're gonna feel like, if I ask something stupid again, or at least that, not stupid, something that I want to know and they take as stupid, am I gonna get, you know, made fun of? Am I gonna get humiliated? Am I gonna get put down? Am I gonna get, you know, embarrassed? It's just, it's very wrong. And again, it's very hypocritical, because again, everybody wants positivity, and everybody, you know, nobody likes a yes man, right? But everybody wants positivity. The moment you say anything bad, and I'm the first one. Like, I will criticize Hot Toys, but I will not be disrespectful and act like they don't make mistakes. And no, absolutely not. I will always be, first and foremost, a Hot Toys collector, period, because I got into it because of them. So for me to go act like a lot of these people act, and the moment Inart, came out and announced their Joker, Hot Toys is going down, they're going out of business, blah, blah, blah. Like, you started, and again, I've said this multiple times, you guys started this hobby because of Hot Toys, because it was the only game in town. All of a sudden, a company comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, Hot Toys is going out of business, Hot Toys sucks, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And same thing with Sideshow. Toys Wonderland comes out of nowhere, and then suddenly Sideshow sucks, Sideshow this, Sideshow that. Like, there's no loyalty in the game either. You know what I mean? No. Like, none whatsoever. No. And again, they're companies, right? They're making money, but you have to be realistic when it comes to, let's just talk about customer service, period. Let me tell you how many times Toys Wonderland has scammed people, and how many times Sideshow has it. That alone says everything you need to know about a company. Sideshow will give you your money back before they steal a penny from you. You know, they've given you, like you mentioned earlier, they've given you back, at least me also, many deposits just by making a phone call. I don't even ask. They just offer, oh, we're going to return your deposit as well, blah, blah. Awesome. Tell me how many times Toys Wonderland will do that for you. Never.
Well, I mean, listen, not to cut you up, I bought from both of them, and I've had good and bad experiences with both of them there. So it depends. I mean, every purchase is different. You know, I don't want to sit here and praise Sideshow and bash Toys Wonderland and vice versa there. I just think that, you know, from the standpoint of loyalty, you're absolutely right. There's no such thing as loyalty. I'm loyal to whoever's going to give me the best price.
Correct.
At the time that I feel the most confident that my money's going to the right place. That's that there. As far as circumstances between the two and other places I may sell, let me tell you, something happened to me recently with Sideshow. I bought the 2-pack for Justice League, the Superman / Nightmare Batman, right? And which, by the way, I sold my original Nightmare Batman just so I can get the Superman. That annoys me. So that's one thing there. But I wanted to buy it, and there was a defect with one of the figures. So I contacted Sideshow. Sideshow sends the pictures. Okay, hey, we're going to send you over. But this is sometimes where, like, when we say customer service is so good at Sideshow, the next step of this is next level customer service. I'll tell you what happened to me. So I purchased one of those third-party coats, the Daft Toys Nightmare coat for Batman. The
brown one,
right? Right. So Batman, the original Batman was fine. So I already, hooked them up with the coat and all that stuff like that there. In the process of repackaging everything, I forgot to take off that coat. off of Batman and shipped it back to California to Sideshow.
Oh no!
Freaking out. But I called them. I told them what happened. I gave them a picture of what it looks like and all that stuff. They went out of their way to find that return in their warehouse to find my coat.
That's what I mean.
And shipped it back to me and no additional charge.
No, I'm telling you, no. And again, everybody, I've said this multiple times. Sideshow's not perfect either. You know, companies make mistakes. Companies, you know, they're human. They're human. You know, and you could have as many, you know, robots and computers to do as much as possible, but you have human error included in there as well. So I've never said Sideshow is you know, perfect and they don't make mistakes. Never. But realistically, you know, and it's not the only company that gives you very, very good customer service. You have Big Bad Toy Store.
Fantastic too.
Yeah, you have many places to order from, but I bring up Sideshow because that's my main. I used to order from Big Bad Toy Store all the time until I found out about Sideshow. And you know, I speak on Sideshow because of my own experiences. I'm not saying that they're perfect, but every time I've had an issue, I've never had an issue with them resolving the issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just
absolutely
so great at that.
Yeah, there's pros and cons with anybody you buy from, but it's just up to you to do your homework and decide which risk you're willing to take. You know, I might get a sweet deal at, you know, TW's, right? But there's a chance that bad boy is delayed or it comes in damaged, and you're not happy when you have to go through the process of getting it changed or, you know, returned. You know, but, you know, you get what you pay for in that regard there too. So,
but here's the thing though, and that's a good point that you just brought up, because now, for example, anything happens with Sideshow, there's absolutely no doubt that they're going to take care of it. Period. There is no doubt. When you have, you know, and if they can't, fix the problem, they'll give you your money back. You'll ship the thing back. You'll get your money back, you know, deposit and all. When you order from Toys Wonderland, can you say that? Do you feel comfortable enough that if anything happens that you're going to say, you know what, whatever happens with me with this order, I will be compensated 1,000% no matter what happens, whether it's, you know, their fault or my fault or whatever, are they going to take care of me? You cannot say that with Toys Wonderland, and that's the difference. And yes, you know, people have lucked out with Toys Wonderland. I know people who have ordered one figure, gotten two. You know?
Oh, that's a sweet deal. That's a good deal.
Absolutely, just by error of their part, you know, in their part. So, you know, they mess up, but they mess up for their benefit as well sometimes. But that's the thing with Sideshow. I personally, when I order from them, I know that whatever I was promised, I will get. And if I don't get what I was promised, I will have 100% of my money back in my pocket, no questions asked. You can't say that with Toys Wonderland, and that's the difference.
It's just a matter of what's more important to you there: peace of mind or saving money. And there's no right or wrong answer. You can answer either way, and you're absolutely correct. But you know, that's for you to decide there too. And whether, hey, you bought it from Sideshow and, you know, you bought it for their price at that time, and then it goes on sale a week later. Well, hey, you took that risk on that there, but you also had that piece. So it's almost like you have insurance if you really want to look at it there. Exactly. You're paying for the insurance of having reliable customer service. Yep. Whereas if you go to Toys Wonderland, hey, it's, you know, it's a flip of the coin. You know, you may luck out. You may score a sweet deal, and good for you. You deserve it with all the money you spend in this hobby. Exactly. But maybe, you know, you're not so lucky and yours is broken. You got to go through the process with them, and it's not at like Sideshow quality. You can't expect Toys Wonderland to do what Sideshow does for you because you're not paying them to do that. And the same thing goes for Sideshow. You know, we're giving you X, Y, and Z peace of mind. We're not going to give you $150 off your trooper or whatever is on sale over there. So, like I said, if you like Toys Wonderland, you're right. If you like Sideshow, you're right. But you can't sit here and put your opinions on somebody else. Correct. And tell them that you should listen to me because I know better than you. No, you don't. I don't. Correct. You're everybody's a grown man for the most part. I see some youngins in here, but everybody's pretty mature enough to, you know, if you can afford these figures, I'm sure you're doing well enough for yourself to make some good decisions. Right. If you're buying these figures and you're poor and you're broke and your electric bill is 2 months past due, then you really need to get out ASAP. But for everybody else, just keep doing what you're doing because it's gotten you here this far.
Right. But that's when we, as for example, myself, I get a lot of questions from, people who may not have been in the hobby for as long as I have. And I will always tell them, my opinion on what my experiences have been. And I feel like that's my responsibility when they come to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't tell everybody, oh, you all have to do this. Absolutely not. But when you come to me and you ask me directly, listen, what do you think of blah, blah, blah? Should I go? They have this, because that's how they get you too. They show these prices, that are like, my God, man, how can you go wrong like ordering this? So that's how they get you hooked on wanting to buy from them. So my answer has always been, and I give them the comparison, this or this, think about this, think about this. What if this happens? What if this happens? So I take that as a very personal thing when they ask me, because if they didn't care about my opinion to help them out, they wouldn't come to me. You know what I mean? So I don't tell everybody, you need to only order. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right.
But I know from experiences, like you said, when I order from Sideshow, I have insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In a nutshell, that's exactly what you have.
And that is, to me, that is more valuable than getting a figure for, $100 less. Because, like you said, it's a gamble. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if God forbid, it comes broken, it comes damaged, it comes anything. That, number one, they're going to take care of it. Number two, that you're getting your money back. Number three, that you're getting any money back. It's very risky dealing with somebody like that. So that's where I head with, when they ask me specifically. But I don't go around telling people you should only order from Sideshow. Never, because that's not my problem. You know what I mean? It's your money. Like you said, you're a grown man. You're going to spend your money wherever the hell you want. But if you come and ask me for my opinion, I'm going to tell you from my experiences what I think you should do. Hold on, let me see what they're saying. So now a question for you. Vehicles. Because somebody, I forget who it was. I think it was someone was asking about the N1. What do you think about vehicles? Do you own any vehicles? Are you planning on getting vehicles? What do you think about the spaceships that have been teased?
Well, at least a new vehicle every 3 years. I'm joking. No, listen, I'm not buying no spaceships. I'm not buying no tumblers. As much as they're cool, they're just not for me. That's the size of one of those things right there will take up way too much. It would never fit in a DTOF.
Right.
I have one vehicle in my collection and I adore the hell out of it. It's the Mando Scout Trooper behind me over here. Yeah. Somewhere here if it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I see it.
Love it. It's amazing. But I mean, I'm not gonna make it a habit to get every vehicle out there. I love them, but again, if I was that guy who lived in a mansion and I had 1 or 2 rooms to myself or a basement, I live in Florida, so I don't even have a basement.
Right.
If I had a basement, maybe it'd be a different story. But I'm in a extra room in my house, and I didn't even get to pick this room. That was picked for me. It was like, what's left over? You get it. And I didn't say no. I didn't complain. Yeah, thank you. I got a room. I'll take it.
Right.
So vehicles, I would love them. I would obviously love to have like something like the Tumbler or, the N1. If it looks, I've seen it at the con. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever get made. Sorry, whoever asked that question.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
I mean, it's there. It exists, but you also know Anakin's exists as well too, and they've been teasing that, or I don't even think they even tease anymore. But I mean, it was shown years ago. It just, they got so many things to do. I don't think that's on the list there. And if they're focused on a potential $2,000 Starship for you to pre-order and then cancel, we're gonna lose this company. They're gonna go out of business because they can't make the other stuff that we have on pre-order. So I hope that they don't do it. I'm sorry, anybody who wants to do the vehicle thing there, but I still want a Padme down the road. I still want more Sith Lords, some more Jedi from the prequels and all that kind of stuff. I have other fish to fry, so I hope this N1 doesn't get made, and other things that have been in the back burner gets made. I want Mace Windu. Oh my God, number 1 on my list of things I want made.
Yeah.
It just seems like, come on, at this point. I mean, I know everybody says Han Solo. I mean, that too But I want Mace Windu, man. There's not enough Jedis in this Star Wars hobby of mine over here.
No, that's very true. That's very true. Now, were you around for the bat? Did you? I don't know if you had seen the picture. It was teased, the 1/6 bat from the Dark Knight Rises. Do you remember that or no?
Yeah. I mean, I had a shot at buying that there. It was on Big Bad Toy Store forever, and it was marked down like.
Well, no. Not the one that they released. Not that one. No. I'm talking about.
Which one are you referring to?
I'm talking about the 1/6 scale bat that they.
No.
Teased. Oh, you didn't see? You didn't see?
No. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah. So they showed what it was going to look like, 1/6 scale, just like they teased the N1.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly like you said, it was never made. So why do you think that they're teasing all these spaceships? For what reason?
Well, two reasons I can think all the time, man. First one is, for me, it's clout. It always looks good when you see something impressive done at that scale. I think that gets people talking, gets people excited about the hobby. And then the second one is just to kind of gauge interest of where the focus is of the community at this time. Star Wars has been king, but it hasn't been king for very long. People seem to forget that. Like, Star Wars has become relevant since Mando was released, and now this is resurgent here. We were a Marvel community, and people like myself were DC. We were outcasts. I mean, we got our stuff last all the time. Like gosh, it took me like almost 3-4 years into my collecting career here to finally complete my Justice League line, only for them to finally release Cyborg. I'm still collecting what I thought I was going to collect when I first started this hobby over here. So, but yeah, I think it's a clout chase thing, and I think it's to kind of gauge where the market is with this here. I think they definitely listen to us more than they let on. They don't communicate, but they are definitely got eyes and ears.
Oh, absolutely.
On what things are said in groups and channels like these and stuff like that here. So I think that's the only reason why. But I don't think when they look at the budget, what it would cost to make that and what they would have to sell it for, and how many people can actually really afford this, even with payment plans and all. And shipping to tax. Can you imagine the tax on something like that?
Yep.
That might be 3-figure. Who knows? I mean, I can only assume. But yeah, I mean, it'll never get made, and I think they just want to stay in the news.
It's funny you just mentioned something about the clout. I just thought of, and I haven't thought about this at all until you just brought that up. I think that they make these vehicles, specifically, for example, the N1. Same thing with the what was it? The oh my god, the Anakin one, the Starfighter.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about there.
So think about how they display those figures, those vehicles with the figures inside. What does that make you do? Shit, let me get the figure, because if they make it, I'll already have the figure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably a sales tactic as well. If you don't have the figure yet, you're like, oh man, that looks really cool. If they make it, I better have the figures, in hand, because what if they sell out or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's obviously the Anakin's been gone, but, the Mando, they're giving you, it's like 4 Mandos already, so.
For sure.
I think that makes a lot of sense, just to make you feel like you're going to miss out on something.
That's a good point, because every once in a while, Hot Toys will come out with a figure that you kind of scratch and say, why would you pick that one over, we want this one right now. Why haven't you made that one yet? It's long overdue. And they'll come out with this one over here, and it'll sit forever.
Yep.
And then eventually a companion piece will come in down the line, and then go ahead and do this. Like one that was, I think most people probably can remember, it was a Toy Fair a couple years ago. It was a Two-Face from the Dark Knight 2.0. Out of the blue. Dark Knight has been done for so long. We're into BVS, going into Justice League at that time.
Is that the one with the table? With the table, right?
No, it's not the one with the table. The Two-Face 2.0 was like
Two-Face. I thought you said
Two-Face.
Joker. Two-Face.
No, not the Joker there. Not that one there.
No, Two-Face.
But Two-Face, it was random. Like there was no Batman figures, no DC figures. Yep. And then eventually we got the DX-19, and now we're getting, Catwoman from this line in there. Yep. We got the Tumbler. We got I can't think of it, the motorcycle. What's it called? You know what I'm talking about.
The Batpod.
The Batpod. Thank you. I mean, so now there's a resurgence of it there, but that was about 3-4 years ago that Two-Face came out. So it's just like it was left on its own, and I think they do that stuff purposely because down the line, they want to see what the interest is here. It wasn't immediate, so they didn't announce a Batman right away. They didn't go back to that. They waited and then eventually said, you know what, we want to go ahead and move forward with this. We're just going to release it anyways. Right. But let's say it was something like, say something recently like the War Machine that was just the 2.0 that we just saw with the reissue. It wasn't even 2.0. It was the same exact one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So we know that just came out. That's hitting markets now. People are starting to get those in hand real soon. And what's the Iron Man that everybody's clamoring for them to reissue that hasn't been reissued yet?
The Mark 6?
Mark 6, right, from Iron Man 2. So it hasn't been announced yet, but War Machine was announced about a year, 2 years now. Now it's released. I mean, I put all my money in that there's going to be a Mark 6 reissue announced very shortly.
I think it'll be more of a 2.0. I think it'll be more. Actually, what is it? A 3.0? Wouldn't it be? It would be a 3.0. No.
Yeah, true. I think there was already a 2.0.
Yeah, they came out with the one with that nice base with that 2.0 gantry base.
Love that. I'm not a base guy. That's a nice base.
Yeah, that's a nice base. And actually, I don't use those bases, and I have it. I'm using it because it was so nice.
It's too good not to use.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it won't be a straight reissue, but I think they'll add a couple different things to be able to make it a 2.0, 3.0 look. But now going back to specifically the Batman line. You've heard, obviously, of the in-art Joker that's coming out.
Sure. I got it on pre-order because someone told me it was going to be limited, and I only had a week to do it, and I did it. And then let's talk in-art. Now you're going to hear the negative now.
You fell for that.
So this chat just got negative now. You brought up in-art. Okay.
So now, question for you. So, all right. So now, do you think, obviously, you just said that, and which is what happened. You got the Joker 2.0. And then they started with, the X-19, Catwoman, which is not out yet. They did the Batman Begins one as well. Now, do you think that the reason why in-art decided to go with the Joker was, number one, because they knew that Hot Toys is eventually going to do it? Or they just said, you know what, we know that everybody loves the Joker, probably the best sales, of a figure ever, probably the most popular, villain ever. Let's just go with that classic character as our first figure.
Yeah, I'm not sure if in-art's really thinking so much about Hot Toys and what direction they're going with in the future.
Right.
I think it has to do more with the second part you said there. I think it has to do with, you're a statue company and you're expanding to the 1/6 community. What's one figure that everybody loves in the 1/6 community? I mean, I've seen photos of the DX Joker for years. Beautiful photos. People have gotten them so customized, upgraded over the years. I mean, this was a great example of if they decided they wanted to do a 2.0 of this here, or 3.0 in this case here, it makes sense because it's been over 10 years, like I was kind of saying earlier.
Right.
But I think for in-art, they're a statue company first, and Heath Ledger Joker is very popular in the statue communities. There's so many statues out there of Heath Joker. So I think if you want to come out with a bang and you want to make a calculated safe risk, and this is the licenses you have, the first one I would pick the same thing. I'd pick the Heath Ledger Joker. So I think that was a smart move.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, no, because their sales, I'm telling you, everybody's going crazy. Where am I going to order? Because that was another thing. It's licensed overseas, and they don't have any reps selling here. You know what I mean? So everybody was losing their minds, and companies were trying to figure out, are we going to, should we get it here? How are we going to get it here? Right. And all that stuff. So so how many did you get? Just one? You just pre-ordered one?
One. Like I said.
Which version did you get?
I didn't get the one to rock, one to stock. I didn't do that. No. It's too expensive for that.
Did you get sculpted or did you get rooted?
I got sculpted. I played it safe. Yeah. I like rooted. I like what it looked like, but this is still a new company I don't have any kind of experience with. This is out of my wheelhouse. This is their first figure ever, so there's a lot of unknowns, and that price is a big gamble for me personally. Some people, great for you. I'm happy for you. You're going to love it, I'm sure. But I wasn't ready to make a full-fledged commitment to a company I've never used before. That's why I do my best to stay away from third parties.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that too.
I don't branch outside of Hot Toys very often. When I do, it's a licensed company. I don't do anything like that. Like, I've got I have Transformers from 3-0. I've got Enterbay 2-pack Kobe Bryant. And what else do I have here? I have the Blitzway Fight Club 2-pack. Love that thing. Love it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I don't venture very far very often there. So in our area, I mean, I remember that time where it was just like, oh my gosh, where am I going to pre? I went with Kit Chen. I always get my stuff from him. Anytime I need to get something over there, I trust him. I've been doing business with him for years, and he's a good dude. He takes care of you. Yep. But yeah, I only pre-ordered the basic one, sculpted, just as a test run, because I mean, I forgot what I paid. I think it was like $350 or something like that. That's about the range of what Hot Toys are going for. And I said, you know what? If I'm going to take a $350 gamble, I can live with it. If I don't like it, I'm sure I can sell it. But yeah, I like it. I didn't like how the whole launch started there. I didn't like the promises that were made and then the promises that were broken and all that drama that came behind it there. I mean, I wanted an alternative to Hot Toys just as much as the next person, but I was hoping it was going to be a less expensive, if I'm being honest, a less expensive competitor. But they wound up being higher, and it kind of went the opposite direction. Now my Hot Toys are $20, $30, $40, $50 more than what they were last year.
Yeah.
Because everybody bought a $1,000 Rude figure.
Yeah, no, and I was going to talk specifically about that. So you went with sculpted. Now, was it because you just said the price? So what is it about unlicensed figures that you don't really gravitate towards?
It's all about risk reward for me. I mean, I have seen some great looking third-party figures, and I've been tempted. I'm not going to sit here and crap on them. There's been some super impressive ones. The recent Kingpin that I saw, I don't know what they call it on the streets, but the Kingpin from the streets.
Yeah, it was cool. What the hell was he? The So-So toys.
Yeah, I know the names. The So-So toy. I don't know what they call them. I don't call them
No, yeah, I know.
The big fat guy in the white suit. Exactly. Instead of Kingpin or whatever they call him. Yes. That thing looks so good. But let me tell you, I've been so close to picking up a third party every now and then I see someone get it in hand, and I'm like, good God, that's a good. Oh no, burn it. So man, I just couldn't. I will say this here. I am into customizing. Kit bashing, I think, is awesome because it goes back to when in the beginning we were talking about how I like to tweak things and stuff like that. I did buy one third party though. I have one only because I know I was going to kit bash it anyway, the way I want it to be. I got the Nightmare Joker. I think they call him the Reveler or Doomsday something.
Yes, the Revealer or something like that. The Reveler.
Yeah. I just call him the Joker to make it easier for me. but whatever you want to call him there on the streets. But yeah, I mean, I got him, but only because I knew I was going to go ahead and get him customized. I was going to get the Sideshow Jared Leto hot toy and get it rooted and get it repainted and all that stuff like that. And then I was going to put that together to make it as if Hot Toys in yourselves. That's what I do. When I kit bash to try to get it as close to what Hot Toys would make it. So for me, it's not a kit bash. Like, I'll give you one here. I'm going to bring one real quick here.
Go ahead.
This is my pride and joy here on my kit bashing days.
All right, guys. So while he gets that, so I posted this is the coupon code 16kit for Kit Chen. You get, I think it's $5 off everything that's in stock already. Nothing on pre-order. So I typed it in for you guys, and yes, Bob Dylan, it's the Boss Man.
Okay. So right here, I kit bashed. I was one of the first to do this here. This is the Bespin Han.
Wait, let me zoom you in. Hold on.
See right there?
Hold on. Stay right there. Hold on.
See, and these are, when I kit bash, I don't use third-party stuff here. I mean, these boots came straight from an original Han Solo. I mean, I repainted the holster from the new Han Solo figure, not the Han Solo from Force Awakens, but from the Solo movie itself. I dyed this stuff here. This is a Sideshow jacket. This is the sculpt from the Stormtrooper in Disguise Han Solo. So this right here, and it's on an official Han Solo body from Hot Toys as well too. So when I kit bash, I like to kit bash to the point of where, like, if someone asked me, did Hot Toys make this? I could absolutely lie to them and say they did, but I'll tell them the truth. But yeah, that's the way I like to do things here. So I bought that awesome. Third. Thank you.
That's right up Bob Dylan's alley. He's really into kit bashing.
Yeah, Bobby D likes the kit bashing. I'm in his group. I've seen his stuff. It's good.
Yeah, no, he's a little too hardcore for me. But he's really into that. No, but that looks beautiful. That looks really nice. And that pose, forget it.
Thank you.
Where'd you get the outfit from? You said Kit? No,
it wasn't from Kit. I mean, I just found it from all over the place there. I mean, eBay, Toy Anxiety, all those places. Yeah, I went scavenging for that stuff, man. And then I learned how to sew. I mean, this is the crazy stuff you do in this hobby. Like, I learned how to sew. I learned how to stitch. I learned how to stitch that.
It's funny that you say that, because when I started, and I've said this many times, when I started, there was a lot more kit bashing than I was doing personally, because we weren't getting figures like we are now, like at all. And that's why Hot Toys was even selling their bodies, because they wanted people to, continue, remember them, that, they still were around, and just wait for the figure. But in the meantime, make your own figure, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about, man, I should really learn how to sew, because I started seeing people making capes and making outfits and selling them, and I'm like, man, I thought about it. So it's funny that you say that, because I thought about the same thing. I never did it, but
the funny thing is, it's great to kind of like, have somebody like my wife, who has no interest in my hobby whatsoever, see me tinker with these little dolls and stitching and, taping things and whatever I can. And sometimes she'll just come in here and shake her head, and I'll say, like, what is it? And what do you want to say now? And she says, you can do all of this, but you can't put your clothes in the hamper. And she's got a point. I can't even sit here and tell her she's wrong when she's right there. So
you're passionate about this.
But yeah, that's I gotta take the good with the bad, I suppose. But yeah, it's funny like that, man.
That's so funny. So now, I asked this question to everybody: if you were the owner of Hot Toys, what would you do differently?
Be a lot more profitable, probably.
In what way?
In what way? I'm vicious in business, but no. All jokes aside, what I would do differently. What I would do differently is a couple of things here. I'm going to speak from what I would like as a collector to happen. So this is a pretty easy question to answer. The first thing I would do is I go back to being limited. I would go back to being limited. I would be brave enough to number my figures. I'd be brave enough to do that. Yes, I would. And if I'm being honest too, if I was a CEO of Hot Toys, I'd raise the price another $100 too by doing that too. And you know what? Everybody would buy it.
Oh, absolutely. I think so.
Everybody will buy it.
Yep, because now you know it's limited. Yep.
So now you know what you're getting out of me here.
Yep.
Another thing I would do too as well, and I want the community personally on a level, I want the community to heal. I feel like, again, there's so many people trying to be positive, they've become negative. And I think that's a big thing that needs to stop. I mean, we're just grown men collecting dolls at the end of the day, guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be blunt about it.
100%.
There shouldn't be this much, toxicity in something that we do in our spare times. I mean, you don't know what the other guy is going through. You don't know if they had a rough day. I can tell you, when I had a stressful day at work, I come into this room and I just look in awe of like what I have, and it just really helps me unwind there. This is a sanctuary for us to get away from the real world. So I would do personally, if I was Hot Toys, I communicate with the community. I would actually take the time to have, if I was Howard Chen, I don't speak English, I'd hire a U.S. ambassador or ambassador for any country that Hot Toys are sold, and have personal Facebook groups or Instagram groups, for those groups to find somebody, A, who they can ask questions to, and B, find other communities that I'm local. Because that's one thing I wish I had more of. I wish I had more people that were local to me when I started. I would have loved to have shared the journey with more friends. I've gained friends. There's some people that are local here now that I know pretty well, but it took me like almost the 5-6 years that I've been doing this to actually find people local to me. But but yeah, I would definitely have better communication with people. I'd love to give people like a heads up of where we are as far as like R&D. Are we going to be on schedule? Or is it going to be delayed? We're expecting like all that kind of stuff there, just because, it's so appreciated, because what I'm looking for from a collector is looking for loyalty. Now I got competition. Now I got an in-arts that I got to deal with now. I know there's was it J&D Studios that heard rumors that they may possibly jump into the 1/6 game. Everybody's trying to get a piece of my pie.
Right.
So I'm not saying I'm going to be the cheapest, but I'm going to be the best quality and the best service possible out of any of the options that you have out there. That's the way I would handle it personally.
Bob Dylan brings up a good point, which I was going to ask you about it anyway. So how do you feel about how – so, I think that the reason why Hot Toys is so hush-hush about everything is because they do it on purpose. You know what I mean? I don't think they want to talk to anybody about anything. You know what I mean? And I think to a certain extent, I think that's what makes them so, unpredictable and they give us things out of left field because, again, they're not involved with us at all. They just, come up with the product. They'll tease the product. They'll, put the product up for pre-order. They'll take their pictures, blah, blah, blah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
InArt, you have John from InArt, which, nicest guy to talk to. How do you feel about a company like InArt coming out of nowhere and doing that right off the bat?
I think that's smart business. I think that's something that, when they were thinking about getting into the 1/6 game, they obviously had to think about what was lacking in the Hot Toys community. If this is the number one, 1/6 maker in the industry, well, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Okay. Well, we know they're top-notch quality. That's why people put up with their crap. We know that their prices are going higher and higher, but people still continue to buy them. So what are they lacking? What can we beat them in that they're not willing to do that we can? Communicate. That's an easy one. Communication. I've seen a couple of John's streams that he's been a guest on. He seems like a nice enough guy. So I have no negative or positive things to say about the guy. I don't know him. Right. But he seems to be saying the right things. It's all a matter of, we're still waiting for our first figure. We don't know if any of that's true until it's in our laps and we can actually see these things for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those things where I think being limited is what's healthy for the community at this point. I think we need to take a step back to make 2 steps forward, because I'm seeing a lot of people get burnt out. So a lot of people sell their collections, panic selling and all kinds of stuff like that there. And, it's not fair because I don't think they want to leave the collecting community, but I think they're feeling like they're having no choice to make that step because they want to cut their losses before it's too late.
And one thing I'm going to say about John, like I said, nicest guy. He tries his best at least. He's been asked multiple times certain questions that he wasn't prepared to answer. I think that if you're going to do something like that, I think you're going to send out somebody who's prepared for everything and any question that comes your way. I think, because again, the InArt product is not a cheap product. They're giving you a base model that's more expensive than Hot Toys, and then a rooted model that's even more expensive.
Sure.
So if you're trying to get people to buy into your product, which a lot of people are without knowing the company to begin with, you know what I mean? They're just jumping into there's something besides Hot Toys. Can't even say that, oh, well, they're cheaper than Hot Toys, so I'm going to try them out. No, they're more expensive right off the bat.
Right,
you know
right.
I mean? So it's if you're going to send out somebody to inform the community, I think that it should, and that's my only complaint that I have that I've noticed. Like you said, I've seen him as well. I was on a stream or a couple of streams with him on, and that was my thing. Some of the questions that they asked him, he was like, "I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back to you on that." So that,
and I think that's fair for John. If I can cut you off, I think it's fair for John.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you want all the answers, you get the CEO on your stream. This guy's got the information that he's allowed to get for his,
exactly, and that's my
what
point.
he gets paid for.
Correct, and that's my point. If you're gonna send somebody out to represent, to talk to the crowd and inform the people, give them enough information to do so, or have somebody just post it on their group. You know what I mean? Just type in, "Oh, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're," and that's it. But but that's just my own thing with sending somebody out and having them not even know, those type of questions that obviously, he's coming on the show to answer questions and he can't answer some because, and like you said, it's not his fault at all. I'm not blaming him.
Yeah, I don't feel good. I feel bad for John. I mean, that's a lose-lose situation for him.
Exactly. And, and obviously, you naturally would want to blame him. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know this, but it's really not his company. You know what I mean? So he's not going to know. And he's not, like you said, he's not going to be allowed to speak on everything. You know what I mean? And he may not know everything,
right.
because that, like you said, that's not his pay grade. So he may be limited on knowledge himself that he's not, that he's not allowed to share. But one more thing. You have anything else you want to talk about regarding that, the in-art stuff?
No, I mean, there's not really much to say until we start getting them in hand. I know there's been some complaints about some of the stuff. I know Gandalf was a big deal for a lot of Lord of the Rings collectors out there. They were upset about the accuracy of was it the sword or something like that for that figure? I don't remember, but honestly, I'm not following too much up on it there. Right now, I got $45 in the game, which I'm prepared to walk away from. No, true story. I'm $45 into this game of in art, which I'm more than prepared to walk away from. It's $45, whatever. Right. But there's so much between now and when we're supposed to get this figure. I mean, it's supposed to come out this year. I haven't got an update on that at all, but it's supposed to come out this year. Until I have it in hand, that's what they said originally December. So I haven't been keeping track of my order. I don't know if they pushed it back or whatever, but as far as I'm expecting this thing in December. And when this thing comes in my possession, you want to talk more about Anort, I'm going to have so much to say. Right. But right now, I'm just like everybody else. I put $45 down. That's the largest deposit I've ever done in my career. My largest deposit ever. I'm committed $45. But, when I get it in hand, if it's good, I'm going to tell you it's good. If it sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks.
No, and you have to be on again.
That's it.
And that's the thing. We talked about this earlier. People are afraid. People are very, very afraid of being honest because they don't want to come off negative. But it's your opinion. It's like, for example, Inner comes out with their figure, with their Joker, and it's amazing. You're going to have people saying this is better than Hot Toys. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an opinion. It's not like there's like, who are you to say that this is, but you know what I mean? Like, and you're not wrong because that Joker is going to be better than Hot Toys for you. Absolutely.
For sure. 100%.
But it's not like it's going to be, oh yeah, now everything that InArt makes is going to be better than absolutely not. And that's why opinions shouldn't be bashed, shouldn't be, denied, pushed away, made fun of, because everybody, again, I feel like everybody should have their own opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. And just because you don't agree doesn't mean it's wrong.
Everybody who has their opinion on what collecting is, if we all thought the same way, this would be a very boring hobby. Then I would quit tomorrow, if I'll be honest with you there. I think everybody being different, everybody having a different focus makes the hobby what it is. To me, I will go on some random kid who just jumped into the hobby and he was so excited. He posted his video tour room and his 8 figures, and you know what? That kid's got a sweet setup. I'll tell you right now, this kid do I have any of those figures? No, I personally don't like them. But you know what? That kid on the video who had the guts to post a video and show everybody and put himself out there, say this is my collection. I love these figures. I don't like any of them. I'm not gonna bash that guy. Good for you. Number one, super brave to put yourself out there. And number two, if those figures make you happy, who am I to tell you you're wrong to be happy?
Right.
Simple as that.
Yep.
Simple as that, man. It's that this hobby is so simple if we let it be simple.
Yeah.
You like what you like, I like what I like. That's it.
That's true. No, and I feel the same way. I collect what I collect, but it doesn't mean that I can't like anything else. And what makes it cool is that not everybody collects the same stuff. You know what I mean? And not only that, but not everybody displays their stuff the same either. Like my stuff is museum.com. You know what I mean?
Oh, everybody, you're a basic B, bro. You're a basic B. I know. I've seen your collection tours. You're a basic B.
A lot of people, they pose. They
twist a torso and bend an arm for me every once in a while, bro. You're basic as hell.
Yeah, no, the worst of my posing is holding the accessory like this.
I know. I see those pictures like, damn. Fabio's being so brave. Look at him right there. He put something in the hand.
Exactly. But you have, somebody, and I'm going to go to this question, to this comment also. But Bob Dylan, when he just recently did, when he got the what do you call it? And I talked about this before, because I think I'm still thinking about this picture because it looks so incredible. He got the throne, the repaint Boba Fett with the throne. I don't know if you saw these pictures he posted. They were in and just the setup, just the way he posed them. He had all the Mandalorians in the back. He had the armor. He had, Mando. He had Heavy Mando. He had, he had them all behind, and then he's got Boba like on the throne with his foot on top of a stormtrooper's helmet. Like, I would never, do anything like that. I do not have the time to do that.
I can see you sweating just talking about it. Like, no, you wouldn't do that.
The thing blew my mind. No, the thing blew my mind.
Yeah, it was good. Shout out to Bobby D.
Yeah, no, I was like, yo, this is insanely sick. I was like, this is beautiful. So I love looking at that. And even the most basic, just having 3, 4, 5 details and literally one figure on each shelf. Do you know? I think that is the most classiest way to display a figure.
I envy people who can do that.
By itself, just one. And people, people will sell a figure, to go buy a new one and replace it with that and just keep that display how it is. I love people think, I have a lot. I know I have a lot. I know I have an amazing collection. I know all that. But it doesn't mean that I have the best
collection too.
Yeah, no, it doesn't mean I have the best. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that the best, looking one, the most appealing. Yeah, there's a lot. So now I started using, I don't know if you saw, I posted a picture of my my Devil May Cry line, my shelf.
I saw that.
So I started using, I've been using more of the risers now, because I'm like, all right, so if I'm going to be overcrowded, let me at least give them a little height so you could see the different
face every now and then. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I've been doing now. I ordered a bunch of risers, and so now I'm getting a little bit more into that. But talking about this right here. So he says, it's fine. He doesn't always have the answers the first time, but the second, third, or fourth time, now you're deflecting. So that's how he makes it as well. Right. That's how he made me trying to hold off and not tell us everything. What do you think of that?
Bobby, in my opinion, I'm going to call you Bobby because I feel like we're close because I know you're in Tampa too. Bobby, when it comes to that, after the first time, the second time, third, fourth time, and now you're deflecting or purposely withholding. Yeah, you're withholding at that point because I'm assuming he went back like, hey, whoever the boss is, I don't know who is, but he went to that person or his boss and said, hey, they asked me X, Y, and Z. What do I say? You don't tell them nothing because we're not ready to talk about that. And that is the negative of being available too. And I think that's part of why Hot Toys doesn't do it either. Because, we as a community, we're always starving for more information and more news, and we're never satisfied with what we got. Yeah. We got John, and I met John. I mean, not me personally, but we have all met John after however many years we've been doing this for. Okay. So I appreciate John, whether he can answer all my questions or not. Yep. But yeah, just at the end of the day, their company, man, they want to be, they want to be able to give us what we want. They want to be able to answer our questions, but there's some things that are beyond collecting that has to do with making big decisions that's going to cost people a lot of money. He's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to keep it quiet until otherwise. So, but yeah, if after the second, third time it's been asked, at that point you should just accept the fact that he can't tell you. It's not that he doesn't want to. Sir John's a very nice guy. If he could, he would, but I don't think he can.
Yeah, look at this, Commander Green. What's up, man? Fabio, you need to be crazy like me and take your photo. Yeah, right. Never.
Would you imagine, Commander? Never. There's no way he'd do that. He would never do that.
Never in a million years would take my figures outside. Let me tell you something. When I have to dust, that alone, like bothers me because I'm like, oh man, like now the figures are all dusty, so I get all like stressed out trying to dust it. Can you imagine outside? No, I could never. And again, when people take those pictures, man, they look insane. They'll do them in the bushes, they'll do them in the woods, they'll put, and they look amazing. I'm like, wow, that's so sick. I would never do that, but I can appreciate when they do it.
What about a compromise here, Fabs? What if you did like the bubble boy thing? You took your figure and put it in one of those little balls out there and took it outside. See, just to test it out. I think you can safe to do that one.
Nope.
The people want to see your figures outside, Fabs. Come on. The people have spoken.
Yeah.
Bubble boy, that thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No way. That's insane. Now, for the last question of the night, what do you like and dislike about the community?
I don't know. That's probably the hardest question you've asked me all night. There's a reason why you asked me that one last. You got me all comfy and got me on the couch, still on my guts here. Now you want the hard questions here. Listen, for all we've been talking about there, and toxicity in the community and strong opinions and inclusiveness and all that stuff. What I do love about the community is I do love when the community shares their figures. I think that's always going to be my number one answer because that's the one thing that always keeps me going, depending on where my opinion is at the time you ask me that question in the future or in the past or whenever. Is that like seeing a good photo, seeing someone take this figure and turn it into art? That is always what gets me going, to keep going, I should say, in this hobby. And every now and then you do meet some people that are so cool. You have so much in common with that. Man, if you guys didn't buy the same Iron Man, you never would have known that person exists. And I think that's cool. I always think that's cool. I think more friends is always a cool thing. I think there's so many people with so many the problems out there. There's so many people stressed out in the real world and all that. It's just nice where you can sit and talk about action figures and who has the cooler, setup or oh, my pose is better. I mean that fun, harmless fun that the hobby brings to it there. So I'm not going to echo the stuff that's negative about it there. I'm just going to list the positive because I want to end this as a positive thing here.
That's fine. And it's funny you mentioned also, one thing is feeling comfortable enough to be able to message somebody you don't even know and be able to share and whether it's show them, directly send them an image or ask them a question. Again, maybe you're not somebody who's outgoing or, extroverted to be able to do that in real life, but in a chat room or on a message on Instagram, DM, hey, can I ask you a question? Like, I think that helps you as an individual as well. You know what I mean? To be able to open up and feel comfortable that you could talk to complete strangers that share your passion for the same hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the common thread that binds us all together, right? We all like this community. We all like the hobby. We collect this for a reason. This is not a cheap thing to do. So if you're here, you're clearly here because you're passionate about this here. And I applaud you because I know it's not easy every time you see the next figure you want go up and the price is not what you paid for the last figure. So it's every time you hit that button and you pay for it, and I say pay, not pre-order it there, that's more commitment to this every time. So yeah, I just think that this is a wonderful hobby when we let it be a hobby and not be a focus of everything. And I think the more we're kinder to each other and we more helpful to each other in a real productive kind of way, the community will only get better and the hobby will only get stronger from there. And your figure will return back its value that it once was, and no one's nickel and diming and selling it for less, and all the problems we have in the community will go away. We're just a little bit nicer to each other.
Yep,
that's my opinion.
Yep, no, very well said. Absolutely, you're 100% right. So let everybody know where they can find you. Give them your social media, anywhere that you want them to reach out, because I know you're gonna get people messaging you, after today, 100%, because your opinions are insane. It's very nice to hear, somebody's opinion that maybe. And another thing you didn't talk about, actually, I want to ask you about this too. I completely forgot. You were streaming at some point, or do you still do it now?
I pop on people's stuff. I don't personally have the desire to open up a channel and open up a page and
Gotcha.
have all those people with those comments that I said I don't like. I gotta babysit those. No, that's too much work for me here. I'm a dad as well too. I have enough children. I'm okay. Thank you very much. All the props to you, Faz, for doing this, but I never could. As far as my social media plugs, guess what, guys? I don't have one. I'm just a collector. I don't need this. Don't follow me on my personal page. Don't like my wedding pictures. I'm good, guys. You can find me in the group. Like you see me comment all the time. If I say something funny, just hit the emoji with the laughing on it. That's all I care. And if you guys have questions, you can ask me any question. I'm an open book. But yeah, I got nothing to plug here. I'm Daniel Lopez on Facebook. You know.
All right, guys. There you have it. There you have it. Reach out.
Surprising.
Daniel Lopez, Facebook. So, all right, guys. So that's another thing I wanted to let you guys know. So at 10 o'clock, I will be on the Hot Toys Veteran show with the Jedi Knights Watch right here. Thank you for coming, my friend. I'll see you in a little bit. And let me see what these guys are saying. Yeah, no, very true, Commander Green. This guy's oh man. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Don't like my wedding.
All of this because of a damn raffle.
Oh man. So, oh yeah. So let them know.
I signed up for one raffle, and now you guys all know my stuff here.
Yeah. But, go ahead. Let them know. Let them know.
What do you want me to let them know?
Oh well, number one, I almost forgot again. Your favorite figure of your
That's right. That's right. This wasn't rehearsed at all, guys. Hold on. So I think this guy right here, always forever.
Here, let me zoom in.
All right. Make me hold this thing. It's heavy. All right. You guys know who this is. Come on. DX13, Arnie. I mean, I'm a kid from the 80s. I've watched every single Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. This is absolutely like the mecca of Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. If Hot Toys wants to do more figures, I nominate Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Every single one. Every single one.
Conan and stuff?
No, I was thinking more like twins, like a 2-pack with Danny DeVito.
Wait.
Like, I mean,
You're nuts.
all of them. I want them all, man. That's the man right there.
So tell them about the raffle.
Speaking facts.
Tell them about the raffle because I'm going to plug the raffle in because it's actually doing pretty well so far than the next one. So
yeah, guys. I mean, listen, I've like if you've been here since the beginning, I told you I don't gamble, I don't bet on stuff. This was a one only raffle ticket. I said, what the hell? I thought a hurricane was going to come. I said, you know what? If I gotta rebuild my whole collection, at least I got this for $20. You know, but it's legit. I mean, I won the raffle. It was shipped out the next day. I got it early this afternoon.
Show them what it is.
Well, it's not DX13. I got that on my own money. This is what I picked, boys and girls. I said, you know what? For $20, I want the biggest, baddest one I can get out of this raffle. So I decided to go with the Venom. I know some people don't like it. I absolutely love it. I didn't want to pay for it at the price that it was going for. So I said, you know what? If I win, that's the one I'm going to pick out. And I'm so glad I did because this guy is a beast. I mean, literally, it's taking up the entire screen right here. I mean, I'm doing a terrible job of anchoring it because it's so damn heavy, but it's so dope. I mean, the articulation on this thing, I mean, it doesn't feel cheap. You know, that's the best thing I can say about it. It just doesn't feel cheap. It feels like every little detail on this bad boy was thought out of. It is just, it's an impressive figure, man. Like, this is a fab pose 101 right here, and it's just totally acceptable.
Literally.
This is a fab pose right, and I'm okay with. I will rock the fab pose on this guy. Oh, he's perfect for this.
Yeah, no, that's
much appreciate you very much for that too, man.
No, anytime, man. So, guys, so the new raffle, it's I call it the heavy hitters raffle. You're gonna be able to choose. You know, I posted on my Instagram. I posted on in my Facebook group. Out of the 40 spots, there are 30 left, so 10 are gone already. So if you're interested, you know, message me. I'll walk you through the whole, you know, thing. It's filling
pretty, man. Hell yeah.
It's
sorry, I'm reading the comments.
It's filling pretty fast, which is awesome. Again, and now what I'm doing for this one, all of the figures from any prior raffle, so Marvel, Star Wars, and DC. and the diecast raffle as well. All those figures are included. So if you win with your $20, $40, $60, $80, you could pick $100, whatever you play. You could pick any figure from any prior raffle, as well as, the double pack raffle, the anything that's available, the speeder guys, whether it's from the Mandalorian or the Return of the Jedi, and that's it. So guys, thank you guys so much. Again, thank you guys for the support. I finally hit 1,000. I said that earlier. I'm super happy about that. And I'll see you guys in about 20 minutes. Peace.
Take care, everybody.